Hey everybody, this is part 3 of my winemaking series from grapes. This is what I just showed you how to make. You'll notice that it's still bubbling. And I've got it in a dark room. I've got the blinds closed. This is kind of my little winemaking corner. And I wanted to show you what to expect when it's finished. Okay, so here's one that I started last year. This is almost a year old. Let's lift the lid. I've already loosened the lid. Let's look at what it looks like at that point when it stops bubbling. Oh, okay. Now, one thing that you can do after it stops bubbling is you could transfer it, just siphon using a vinyl tube. Use basically anything to siphon it into a glass carboy, glass bottle. And that'll allow the yeast and everything to settle at the bottom, and you can see when it's nice and crystal clear and ready for drinking. Now, you could bottle this, or you could just kind of siphon some out into a gallon jug or a little pint jug or however much you want to drink at a time. But basically these right here are at least a year old. Let's look at this one. Okay, so this is from 2016. This is a year old. How about this one in the back? That is from 2015. So these have been sitting here for a while. They're ready to be drunk anytime. But let's come back here. How do you know when it's done other than the fact that it stops bubbling? Well, I'm going to take a specific gravity reading. So check this out. All right, you remember our hydrometer test jar. I'll put that right there. And you remember the hydrometer. These cost about $6 and they're very fragile, so you don't want to break it. Make sure it stays in its little protective sleeve when you're not using it. Okay, so I put it in here dry. And then I use a ladle and check this trick out. Put a funnel right over the stem of the hydrometer, and now all I do is I lift this lid off. This is the year-old wine, and I take a scoopful. All right, so now I'm going to take a reading. I'll show you this close up, but we are below 1.00. What does that mean? Again, this is reading below 1.00. Now let me show you what that means. Let me take this up here just a little bit. What this means is that we have gone from 1.09, which is 13% potential alcohol, okay, and we've gone all the way down below 1.00. So that's the 0% alcohol. That means the difference between 0 and 13% is 13. So this alcohol is 13% alcohol. This wine is definitely ready. Look at it, it's nice and crystal clear. There's no sediment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and taste this. Here's our 13% alcohol content wine. It's a year old. It's crystal clear. Let's give it a smell and a taste. Ooh, it smells fruity, dry. I really wish you guys could taste this. I mean, it's better. It's better than store-bought. There's no chemicals, no sulfites, nothing like that. And I know that some of you probably just saw me dip a non-sterilized ladle in there and you're like, ooh, you should have bleached it. You should have sterilized it. Pfft, please. The alcohol is going to kill most of the stuff that probably just got in there. If you really want to be concerned, then go ahead and bleach your stuff, you know, before you dip into it, before you take a measurement. In fact, don't even take a measurement. When it stops bubbling and it's clear and it's a year old, it's ready to drink. Now, one more point about that. A lot of wine and a lot of beer in history was drank very young. That means it wasn't even finished fermenting. You can drink it at any time. It's just going to be sweeter and less alcohol until you let it mature. As you let it mature, the yeast is going to settle out, so it won't be cloudy. The alcohol content is going to max out, probably around 13%, and you're going to get some subtle flavors coming through that if you drink it young, you're not going to get that. But you can still get drunk on it. So it depends on what you're really after. Are you after a good quality wine that takes maybe a year? Or are you just after alcohol to drink and get drunk on? I'm going to leave that up to you. But I say cheers and happy winemaking.